Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to show you, or I am going to show you, how to pass values from one screen to the next. So in the last video we already saw how to change screens in App Inventor, but in this video we're going to show you how to pass values, meaning imagine you have some sort of calculation to do in your app and you want to return those values from one screen to the next. For example, in one screen you just added 2 plus 2 and you want that 4 or the result of 2 plus 2 to appear on the next screen. How are you going to do that? That is exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. So as you already know, this is a project that is I'm doing for the university as we learn. And our instructor is, like, as we go on, is teaching us new elements and he is instructing us to insert it in our app in a very organized manner, which is great. So here we have our project and I have already made this app. I'm just going to explain how things work for you because if you're watching this, you should be at least fluent in the basics of computer programming, or how computer functions, or computer logic for that matter. So let's get right into it. So this is the screen 1, which means the basic screen, the first screen the user is going to see once the user opens the app. And just like before, we have the image, the background image, the text and everything, but there is 2 new things or 3 new things in this page which I have added. One is one vertical arrangement inside the horizontal arrangement. This vertical arrangement actually allows us to use the name and enter. It's more of a design thing, like vertically on top of one another, which looks pretty good. There is the second new thing is the name, or this text box, which I have named as name so that the user can insert their name, and the hint is enter your name please. So when the app runs, it's just going to show enter your name please. And we have another component which is a non-visible component, which is this notifier 1. The function of this is basically to show a notification to the user when the user have not entered any kind of value inside this box. So let's head over to the blocks tab and see what's going on. And as you can see, it's pretty simple, because you see in the last video we just had when enter is clicked, open another screen. That's it. We just had let me rebuild this thing for you. Let's go to enter, and here we have enter type. It's just going to say wrong because we already have an enter procedure, but I'm just going to show you. And we went to control and just did this. Simple. When enter is clicked, it will go to the next screen named landing page. But in this video we are not doing that anymore. We are going to use a completely different set of blocks. So here, look here, and you can see already the help component has come up, that when the user taps and releases this enter button, what it will do, I have inserted one if else procedure inside here. And if the name dot text, which means the text inside the name text box, is equals to nothing, this is actually an empty string, there is nothing inside, then the notifier, this non-visible component, will be called and it will show a notice that you must enter your name. If this text box has any sort of value, then it will open another screen with the screen name landing page, which is our second page, and it will start with a default value, like as you can already see, the text in the input box, which can be set by the programmer, and this will be the start value of that page, meaning there will be a reserved space when that second page initializes, and in that space this name will be there, which we can easily grab with another function I'm going to show you next. So once that's done, it will simply move on to the next page, which is right over here, and we have our landing page. So here I have already conveniently put an extra let's see, horizontal arrangement 2, and under that we have a text label here, this label thing. So here I have just put a default text, welcome user, but actually this will not show. I'm just using this text as a placeholder, because when you go inside the blocks tab you will see. So this orange thing is here, variables. So I have set this name of a global variable called name, like it can be accessed from anywhere. Okay, because it can be accessed from anywhere, we have set this thing to get start value, which means whatever we have sent from the last page, this little thing over here, which we can find conveniently over here, no, not here actually, inside this landing page. If you go down, no, where was it? I actually forgot. Oh yes, it was actually in the control place, so forgive me for that mistake. But here you can get the get start value right from here, and once you get it, you just attach it to it, which means it will get the start value from the last page and save it to the global variable called name. Now when landing page is initialized, set name.text, which means this label to, now this is a join segment, which means it's a join string. It's like a concatenation, which you can see in major programming languages, which means it allows you to add different parts of strings together and make it look like as a single string. But in reality, welcome is an individual string. This get global name, which means the name the user put in, is a different string, and this exclamation mark is also a different string. But this join procedure is just going to join these three things and make it look like as a single string, and it will set that single string as the new text for this label here, right here. So it's just going to show welcome user, or whatever the user puts in as his or her name. And another thing I have put in here is the next button, and this is also conveniently done inside a horizontal arrangement so that it looks like at the end of the page it's part of the whole thing, so that it looks nice and it's more convenient for the user when the user is holding up the app and stuff. This whole app design segment will be posted in another video of the channel, and you can see it from there. It will actually be the whole lecture. I'll link it in the description. So once we head over to blocks, the function for this is actually pretty normal, because when button 1 is clicked, it will open another screen with the screen name page 2, which I will show you in a minute, and it will start with this value, and it will pass on this user's name to the next screen. Now, one question you might all have regarding this is that why do we need to send this global name again to the next page? I mean, it's global, right? It should be accessed, or it can be accessed from any place, right? But no, actually imagine each of these pages as a singular function, a singular closed function, which means one page cannot access the contents of another page. Or in more like a Java context, imagine each of these pages to be one single private function. I hope that makes things clear, which means if you set a global variable here, this variable can be accessed from any function or any procedure inside this page, but outside of it, no, you cannot. So that's that. So we are just moving on to the next screen, which is the page 2. Let's head over to page 2, And this is how the page 2 looks like. This is a photograph of all the students in our class, which is nice. And this is one button for the video library. We will show you the video library in a future session. And we also have a music player. We will build a music player in the future session, so don't worry about that. These two buttons are just there for being there. And as you can see, these are just design elements and stuff. And in the bottom segment, you can see that we have a new navigation bar of some sorts. Now, due to some lackings of App Inventor itself, we cannot actually individually position buttons. So this university website button is a redundant extensive button, which I have made it so that the back button and the next button goes to the corner. Maybe there's a better solution, but I don't know it at the moment. If I do know, I will definitely post it in the next video or in a future video. So the function of these three buttons is pretty simple, and just like that, we are just initiating a global variable so that it gets the name from the previous page, and it also shows it here. And when page 2 initializes, we are just going to join welcome and the global variable from here, and then show it or set it inside this label, which I have put here, this label 1, and it will show welcome user. And the bottom segments function is simply this, that the back button, here's the back button, and when back button is clicked, it will go back to the previous page, but also it will pass the start value, because it can happen that the previous page will not remember this value. It can happen. So for that, we will pass it again to the previous page. It's like throwing ball from this page to this page. And for the next page, the same thing applies. When we press next, it will simply go to the next page and pass on the global variable called name. So let's see how page 3 looks like. Alright, so this is how page 3 looks like, and as you can see, we have placed 4 different buttons. 3 of them are completely functional. Here we have some extra components or non-visible components. One is the camera, one is the sound recorder, one is camcorder, which is the video recorder, and one is notifier. So let's see how they're used. So for now, these are just buttons, just like that, and each of these buttons have specific functions. Now, what are these functions? So for now, I have just given some basic functions, which is, it will just call the basic function, which is, for example, if camera is pressed, then it will call the camera component, and it will make a system call to take a picture. When that happens, what happens is, once you press that button, it will prompt on the app to give permission to use the camera, and following afterwards, it will just simply show you the camera app, the default camera app. That's what it's gonna do. The sound recorder, it will record the sound from your microphone, and it will ask for your permission first to use the microphone. Just like that is the start. And for the video recorder, it will call the camera app again, and it will call the video record option inside the camera app. That's what it's gonna do. These are just 3 system calls that it's making to use 3 different hardwares, or a single hardware actually. The camera for taking photo and video, and the microphone device. So that's what we're using here, to use buttons to actually call different devices inside your phone. And in the bottom, we have our usual navigation bar, which will take us to the first page or the back page. And as usual, it will also pass on the names so that the user can still see their names as the greeting text. And now we're going to show you a simple demo of how this whole thing functions on an actual phone. Okay, so we have just started up the app on an actual Android device, and after the splash screen we can see that the user is going to enter his name. Once it's done, it's entered, and we can see the top label as welcome user. And here's the next screen, and the value is passed as well, very simply, and you can see the value is being passed from screen to screen easily. Once the camera button is pressed, the permission is asked and the camera app launches. Once the video recorder is pressed, the video recorder function of the camera is launched and it's working as well. And we go back, and that's that.